Hello, how's it going? So basically, I'm here to talk about the acting Oscar race, where it stands right now, who I think should win, who will win, and why. So we are pretty far along in the awards season for acting. We have the Critics' Choice, we have the Golden Globes, and we have the SAG Awards, all of which have been announced. And those are kind of the biggest things you need to pay attention to when you think about predicting the winners. The other thing that's left is the BAFTA Awards, which is the British Academy, which does have a statistical correlation to the Oscars. However, they're going to be in a few weeks, and they're not really going to be the tipping scale necessarily. And I think in this particular year, it's not going to mean a heck of a lot. Um, where we still have a lot of problems is who's going to win Director and Best Picture. That race has got to shape up in the next week when the Directors Guild announces. But anyway, that's another topic. So we're basically here to talk about the four acting categories, and through my expertise of the awards and the awards season that comes with it, we will analyze and talk about who's going to win the big prizes come Oscar Sunday, the 28th of February. So we'll start with Best Supporting Actress. Now, to remind you again, here are the nominees. It's Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara in Carol, Rachel McAdams in Spotlight, Alicia Vikander in The Danish Girl, and Kate Winslet in Steve Jobs. So you've got five. This is an excellent category. Great people. Some people think that some of the performances should be in the leading category. I agree with some of that. But anyway, this race has been all over the map this season. We didn't really have a clear consensus, and even when the Golden Globes announced their winner, which went to Kate Winslet, by the way, many were thinking she was the default choice because Alicia Vikander and Rooney Mara were actually competing in the leading category at the Globes. The Critics' Choice decided to go with Alicia Vikander, and SAG went with Alicia Vikander. Now, I think SAG pretty much is what kind of cemented the deal to put her in the front-runner position to win this prize. It's an emotionally showy role. She's got a juicy part. It's really a lead performance. And by the way, BAFTA also nominated this performance in lead, so go figure. However, Rooney Mara was not able to get any traction with any victories with any of the big guilds, so I think she's going to just kind of sit there. So I honestly think this is a two-way race between Alicia Vikander and Kate Winslet. I suspect Kate Winslet is going to win the BAFTA, but I don't think that's going to mean anything. I think Alicia Vikander is going to be the one. I think SAG, whose voters do tend to overlap with the academies, have spoken high volumes. I think it's a very liked performance. They love the fact that she's broken out and done so much good work in Ex Machina and Testament of Youth and a bunch of other movies this year. This is kind of like, here you go, welcome to the game. And I think it's going to be her moment. Kate Winslet could upset. The thing about Kate Winslet, though, guys, is that she's won before. She won for The Reader in 2008. So that, paired with the fact that Steve Jobs, the movie, unfortunately performed rather poorly at the Oscars, only getting nominations for herself and for Michael Fassbender. Not even the script, it did not show well. So I don't think that Kate Winslet can really win. I think there may be some passion behind her performance, but I think she's kind of not going to make it. And then Spotlight's got a big momentum going for it for the Best Picture and the editing and screenplay, but I think the acting races are kind of not very strong with Spotlight. Nobody's really won anything. And I think Rachel McAdams has a very effective, wonderful, but very quiet performance that probably just can't make it over. And of course, Jennifer Jason Leigh is nominated, and that's wonderful, but I think she's kind of just lucky to be there. The movie Hateful Eight was not very well loved across the board. It does have its fans, as shows by its 3 nominations, but it's not a universally loved film. It's also a very controversial performance. So I think that what's going to end up happening is Alicia Vikander is going to win. And I think that's how it's going to go. I mean, that's really, I think, the smartest decision to make. I would love a surprise. So that's it. So who do I think will win? I think Alicia Vikander is going to win. I think she's got the right momentum. I think she's on target. I think, and if she wins the BAFTA for Best Actress in the leading category over, say, Brie Larson or something, I think her position is even more set to win the Supporting Actor Oscar. Who do I think should win? Personally, I think Rooney Mara should win. I think she's great. I think, now a lot of people think, yeah, she's a Best Actress as well, but I'm actually okay with her supporting nomination classification. I know that may get some annoying feedback, but I don't know. I can explain my reasons for that in another video. But she would be my pick. I think she gave the most wonderful performance without having to really show a lot of flashy things. I think she was so believable, so raw, so honest. I think she's a wonderful talent. I look forward to her, and this is a great category. And the only person that I think, I think Vikander should have been up for Best Actress, and you should have had Jane Fonda in Youth. I loved Youth. I loved that performance. I'm sad it wasn't in here, but that's who I think for Supporting Actress. Now, for Supporting Actor, here's the players. We have Christian Bale in The Big Short. There's Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. You've got Tom Hardy in The Revenant. You've got Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, and you've got Sylvester Stallone in Creed. Now, this Once Upon a Time in the Oscar season was the most what the hell is going on here category. We didn't know who would be nominated even, but now we know, and SAG didn't help us at all because they nominated a lot of people that didn't make it to the Oscar list. And with the big awards, Stallone has won the Critics' Choice. He's won the Golden Globe. He didn't win SAG because he's not nominated. He wasn't nominated for it. And what did they go and do? They gave it to Idris Elba for Beasts of No Nation, who frankly should have been nominated this year. And he's not nominated for Oscars. So it's the first time ever in the history of SAG that they have honored a performance that does not have a correlating Oscar nomination. So that doesn't really help the race much. But I think what it does do, and many people might agree, is that it actually helps Stallone stay in first place. I think Stallone is going to win. I think he's got the perfect momentum. He's got the perfect narrative to win this award. He was Rocky in 1976. The movie won Best Picture. He wrote it himself. He got an acting nomination, but he didn't win any of those. He went on to this big action career, Rocky 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he sort of became an industry joke, and he kind of got a bad rap for even the Expendables, that just kind of made people laugh at him even more. And he kind of has this, fallen guy, this career that's been mired with these terrible action movies. And now he comes back out of left field in this, Creed, this really good movie where he plays Rocky. This time he's the mentor, and he hits an emotional gravitas in that performance, and it's just the right narrative that America will eat up. Hollywood will eat it up. I think it's going to go there. I mean, he's not up for BAFTA, but that doesn't mean anything. Now, if Mark Rylance from Bridge of Spies, who was nominated for a SAG award, if he had won that, I think it could have been a race. If Christian Bale had won the SAG award, this would have been a race. However, they didn't. Mark Rylance, a lot of people are talking about him for Bridge of Spies, and he was one of the biggest contenders early on in the season. I think what happened, he hasn't really won anything major other than some critics awards for the precursors. That's the ticket. I think a lot of times in Oscar races, you'll see some performances that are kind of friendly for critics, but they don't translate too much to the industry. He's a newcomer. It's a quiet performance. He's known as a theater actor, and the movie did get a lot of nominations, but I think that's going to have to be its reward. I don't think Mark Rylance is going to be the winner. He doesn't have enough traction. He'll probably win BAFTA, but even with that, I don't think it's going to be enough to take away this epic momentum for Stallone. Now, if Stallone loses, it's going to be a huge upset. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think that if anybody would win over him, it would probably be, it's Mark Rylance, because Christian Bale, though The Big Short is getting all this momentum, Christian Bale's already won. He won for The Fighter, and if he hadn't won that Oscar, I'd say he'd be a bigger threat. So you've got those people in play, and then there's, Tom Hardy is so brilliant in The Revenant, but he just kind of attracted steam from the momentum of the film, and he hasn't won anything big. So this may just be his welcome to the Oscar Club nomination. And then Mark Ruffalo has the spotlight problem where the actors really haven't been getting any love for that film. I don't think it can happen. So you've got basically Stallone versus Mark Rylance, and I think Stallone just has it in the bag. With Idris Elba winning the SAG award, it also gave Stallone the boost he needed. So who do I think will win? Obviously Stallone. Personally, as much as I appreciated that performance, it didn't even make my top 5 for acting. I mean, Creed has got this big backlash about how it was snubbed. Sorry, guys. I thought Creed was a great film as a Rocky film, but as it's a film on its own, it's basically repackaged to fit a new flavor, a new demographic, but it's just the kind of old formula story, told well, acted well, but it just wasn't anything extraordinary for me. And Stallone, while brilliant, did not make my top 5. He just didn't. It broke my heart to have to leave him out, but I'm sorry. I think Benicio del Toro got ripped off for Sicario. Idris Elba got ripped off. Jacob Tremblay from Room, the most painful snub of the year, but he should have been a Best Actor nomination. That's, again, it's another topic. So, Michael Keaton, Spotlight. Best performance in Spotlight. Why am not Michael Keaton? Mark Ruffalo gave the emotional performance, so there he is. That's my theory. It's more showy. Keaton was more understated, but he carried the film differently. Oscar loves Ham in the supporting category. So, back to who do I think should win. Honestly, I think the best supporting male performance of the year, after much deliberation between Benicio del Toro, I think Tom Hardy. At this list, Tom Hardy should get it. And I think Tom Hardy might even be the best supporting male of the year. He just really chewed up that role. I mean, it was a stock role, but he made it something else with that extra bit of Tom Hardy brilliance that I love. If he pulled off an upset, I would backflip. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. Could, but no, it's not going to. Wait for Stallone, everybody. Everyone's going to play the Rocky music when he comes up there. It's going to happen, so there it is. Okay, we're going to move on to Best Actress. Now we have here Cate Blanchett in Carol, Brie Larson in Room, Jennifer Lawrence in Joy, Charlotte Rampling in 45 Years, and Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn. By the way, her name is Saoirse Ronan. People have been calling it all kinds of things. It's crazy. Anyway, so there's your 5. But this really has come down to, basically, this is where Brie Larson is going to win an Oscar. She was the best performer. I mean, I saw Room early on in the season. I said, I'll be damned if she's not going to win it. But you think, well, let's see who else comes along. And everybody came along. Everybody did a good job, but she killed it, man. She's amazing. She's the only person who I think really has a viable shot of winning. I think because she's won everything. She's won Critics' Choice. She's won Golden Globe. She's won SAG. And Room is a film that the Academy is passionate about. It's a small film. I got 4 nominations, including Best Director. And we have people like Ridley Scott, Steven Spielberg that are left out of the race, and Lenny Abramson, this independent Irish director, gets in for this film. That indicates to me that this film has passion. I don't think it's going to be strong enough to win those big prizes, sadly, but Brie Larson is the thing that's going to go home with. Room has to win something, and it's going to be that. And I don't think it's just a consolation. It's a wonderful performance. Everybody needs to go see Room now if you haven't seen it. It is amazing. So Brie Larson's got it in the bag. Saoirse Ronan is the only person who might be able to give her a run for her money, but she hasn't won anything except for a few critics' prizes. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think this is the Brie Larson show, and everyone else is lucky to be there. Cate Blanchett, guys, she's won twice already. Carol hasn't really picked up a lot of steam in the big award season. She's just there to stay there. Jennifer Lawrence has won already. She barely even got in. Joy was not a universally beloved film, however good she was. So she's just going to be here. She's lucky to be here. And Charlotte Rampling, I'm so happy she's nominated. Her first ever, if you can believe it, for this wonderful, understated, quiet performance in 45 Years, which got in by passion alone. BAFTA didn't even nominate this wonderful British actress. SAG snubbed her. Globe snubbed her. Critics' Choice did nominate her, but still, she has missed out except for Critics' Awards. And now she's up here, and unfortunately, that's just probably as far as it can go, because it's not a movie that's going to play super well. It's quiet, it's kind of melancholy, it doesn't really have a wide audience appeal. It's one of those movies. But I'm happy she's in. So that's it. Brie Larson is the winner. Who do I think will win? Brie Larson. Who do I think should win? Brie Larson. This is a deserved victory across the board. So congratulations, Miss Larson. You are awesome, and I'm happy you're going to win an Oscar. And lastly, now to Best Actor, where we have Bryan Cranston in Trumbo. We have Matt Damon in The Martian, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs, and Eddie Redmayne in The Danish Girl. This is quite a lineup. However, everybody's been saying this before the race even begun, that basically this is Leonardo DiCaprio's time to win. Time came for that buzz to get upset, and then all of a sudden The Revenant walks along with 12 Oscar nominations. DiCaprio wins the Golden Globe, he wins Critics' Choice, he wins SAG. If nothing else were to happen with The Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio will now become an Oscar-winning actor. This is his time. This is his 5th nomination. He's not won. He's got that overdue card that he's been playing over and over again. He's even been not nominated times when people thought he would be. This is just his time to go. And there's really no competition. I mean, if anybody else were to win this, maybe Matt Damon in The Martian, but I can't even see that being a viable possibility. Michael Fassbender didn't, Steve Jobs didn't have enough traction, and Trumbo's lucky to even get in for anything. And then there's Eddie Redmayne. He'd have been a much stronger shot if he hadn't won last year. But also, The Danish Girl did have its detractors, and you can see it had a kind of a low nomination total. So I don't think there's enough support for that. I think that all that support for that movie is going to Alicia Vikander. So basically, guys, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's your Oscar winner. Did anybody dispute this? Does anybody? If you do dispute this, honestly, you should have your head checked. But if for some reason he didn't win, I think somebody ought to throw you ought to win an award of some kind for yourself. That's ballsy. But it's his time, guys. It's time for Leo to walk with the gold. That all said, I'm disappointed because I'm a big fan of Leo DiCaprio. I'm a fan of The Revenant, but I'm not a lover of The Revenant. I'm a fan of his performance, but I didn't think this was one of the 5 best leading male performances. I just don't. I think there were better people that should have been up here. This is where little Jacob Tremblay for Room should have been up here. And I'm sorry, guys. You can say what you want. I really thought Johnny Depp brought it in Black Mass. I thought he did a good job. Whatever his makeup got in the way of, that performance made up for it. I think he should have been up here. That's really sad. DiCaprio almost made my cut, but just not quite. He just didn't have it. I don't know why. This is, he's going to win. He should have already had an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape back in the day. But I'm a little sad because I don't think he deserves it. Of the people who are nominated, I think Michael Fassbender should win. I think he is tremendously good. He is a wonderful actor giving an excellent performance in and as Steve Jobs. But who will win? DiCaprio. It's just DiCaprio time. This is just best actor and actress are sewn up tight. SAG has basically been the final word for a lot of these, but this is what it is. So anyway, let me know what you think your favorite performances are. Once again, my personal picks for my favorite acting performances of the year in these categories: supporting actress Rooney Mara in Carol, supporting actor Tom Hardy, The Revenant, actress Brie Larson in Room, and best actor will be Jacob Tremblay in Room for me. He should have won. He should have been nominated, but he's not here. So those are my personal picks. But anyway, so that's what it is. It's going to be Alicia Vikander. It's going to be Sylvester Stallone, Brie Larson, and Leo DiCaprio, who actually go home with Oscar on Oscar Sunday. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Thanks a bunch, guys. Stay tuned for my director and picture discussion coming next.